for me, the biggest lesson was that something happened in my family, someone passed away. Whatever I have learned in my life. For people who are at complete zero right now, they need. So there's this client of mine, she's a South Indian, but then I realized she loves. You will have a very sad life. I am very stressed. I feel very low in life, which is very close to my heart. When I was building the technology, the app that I have for my clients, it's not for people above 30, 35, because that is a real challenge. These clients don't understand. Few tendencies that I see clients, barely people are getting 4,000, 5,000 steps. My reason of doing the 100-day challenge automatically starts giving them results. Again, like, it's a very difficult challenge.
Fitness coach, entrepreneur, and the founder of Evolve Fit. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Mr. Swadhin Saraf, who's going to be talking to us about what it takes to have a lifestyle transformation and a lot more. So welcome, Mr. Swadhin, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current work?
Okay, first of all, thank you so much, Sakshi, for having me here. And thank you to all the listeners who are listening to it or watching this podcast. Genuinely means a lot. This is my first podcast. Extremely excited to see how this turns out, and really glad to be here. So, coming to my story, my origin stories, as I would call it, I was never into fitness. Like, I was the guy who would be running away from people who would talk about gym or even go to the gym, to be very honest. Like, I've always been scared of the concept of working out, building strength or muscle. I always believed that it's all genetics and steroids that can lead you to have a good physique. So until I was in my college, I never really considered fitness to be my thing. I was so weak and so inexperienced that I couldn't even do a push-up. So there was something going on in my college when someone asked me to do a push-up in front of them. And I was so nervous about it because I know I don't know the technique. So I just made fun of myself by trying it. And that's when I realized start with something, and I thought push-ups is the movement and I'll start training with. And I took a 30-day push-up challenge where the goal was to do 100 push-ups every day for 30 days. Through that challenge, I learned how to do push-ups, and by the end of the 30 day, I was able to do 100 push-ups every day. And that gave me an opening to the world of strength training. I used to do my own research on YouTube, by reading blogs and books, and I understood that okay, fitness is not that difficult. Like, a lot of people create unnecessary resistance when it comes to fitness. People think that it's not for everyone and you need some kind of extreme level of knowledge or just hyper personalization to get you in that zone, but it does not work like that. It's just about knowing your purpose, having a very consistent plan that you can stick to, and just showing up. So once I figured that out, I realized that there are so many people out there just like wanting to get fit, but they don't have the right resources, right hand holding that they need to take the first step. And when I realized that, I made sure that when I'm done with my college, when I graduate from my college, I will do something through which I can give back to the society, where I can actually help these individuals like me get started on the fitness journey. So keeping that in mind, as my college was in my final year, COVID struck and all of us were sent back home. And during that period, I was thinking of joining a company as a recruit after the want to do, which actually fuels up my passion, something that makes me feel like okay, I'm doing something for the society. Like, I've always had this knack in me that I want to give back. I want to do something for the people because I like doing it. It gives me immense joy. So that's when I decided, along with two of my friends, to start Evolve Fit. Now, Evolve Fit was a very simple concept that we will just figure out what problems do complete beginners face in getting started, and we'll fix it for them. At that time, we did not think of a product or an app. Our goal was to just figure out what the problem statement is at the base level, and once we do, we will be able to make it work. So we used to do some challenges, 7-day challenges, 21-day challenges, where I would personally coach all individuals. And the concept was very simple. I wanted to help them get consistent. So I would ask them, out of 7 days, how many days do you think they'll work out? If they say 3, their goal is to complete 3 days. And if they were able to do it, they get their money back. So at that time, I used to price it at 100 rupees. And if someone promises me 4 days and if they get 4 days, I'll give them the money back as a reward. So that was a very interesting challenge for people. Some 100 people signed up. And that was a huge success for me to realize that okay, beginners are interested, they just need the right hand-holding. Now the goal is, how can I scale it to a level most of the people in India can be comfortable to work with a coach. So once I realized the problem statement, I figured out that we need to build a technology that can enable these online fitness coaches, because during COVID, there was no way that people could train at the gym. So the goal was to come up with a solution that is purely online. So I became an online fitness coach then and there. and I decided that I'll build a product that can make my life simple, where I as an individual can hyper personalize for at least 100 people while maintaining my sanity and life. Because as a coach, the biggest issue that you face is you lose your life as you work with so many individuals. So the work life balance has to be maintained, and exclusivity also has to be given to each and every client as an individual. So I started working on EvolveFit, where the goal was to create a technology that enables an online course to scale 10x without any extra effort. And since then, we have just been building the tech, and at this point of time, say that I've cracked the product. I have the best product in India, hands down, when it comes to enabling a coach. Even though I'm gatekeeping the product right now, I'm not giving it to coaches because I still see that I have some user journey left to cover. Once I hit 100 clients, at that point, I will know that I have the best product in the world. So that's when I push it out for other coaches as well. So yeah, that has been the journey, I would say.
That's amazing. That's a very interesting story, and it really does show that you really love your work through all the content you share, and through the success stories, the transformation stories you share from your clients. It does show that you have so much love for your work, and that we see very rarely in so many coaches these days, right? Like you said, that having that balance for coaches in their own life is very difficult at points when we take too many clients up, and then we're not able to give that much attention to every single person. It does happen, but for you, when I see you, I do see that you have so much love for your work, and you really do believe in sharing that value with people. So that's amazing, and I can't wait to dive right into our episode today. So, to begin with, what are some of lifestyle change pillars for you? Like, because when we say they want to lose weight, they want to gain muscle, I know everybody's like, it's a lifestyle process, it's a lifestyle change. But what do you mean by that? There's so many things when it comes to that, right? Like, what in your experience has worked out for you and your clients, and what are the crucial lifestyle pillars that you love working on when you begin this process with anyone?
Right, that's actually a very nice question. A lot of people are majoring in the minors when it comes to optimizing for fitness. Most people are trying to optimize an exercise to an extreme level, which doesn't really affect 99% of the population who are actually trying to get fit. Most of them are having debates around specific micronutrients, which genuinely does not matter to that extent. What really matters is, first of all, you need to prioritize. Until and unless your mind is ready, your body would not be ready. So the step one is, how do you prioritize fitness and how do you enjoy the process? If you're not enjoying the process, there is no point achieving a goal, because you will be sad. You will be like, what to do next? So you will just be shifting from goalpost to goalpost. So it's very important to think of fitness as a journey, which is a very long-term journey. Don't be impatient. That is a very important crux that I put in my clients, that this is not a 6-month or a 3-month journey that you're taking. It's a lifetime journey that you're taking. And to actually get there, to get there, you will be fit at 50, you'll be fit at 60 when it actually matters. So to be able to walk that path, you need to realize that it's all about making very small changes, very tiny changes at a consistent level, so that you don't get overwhelmed. Most people, they end up doing too much in too less of a time, and then they feel like, what next? Or they just feel like giving up. They just feel like they're burnt out. So it's about training the mind. The mindset is what is the key pillar in changing a lifestyle. Once you know that, okay, this is something that is important for me, you are able to associate a time to that activity. Like, everyone has the same 24 hours in the day. No one is privileged enough to get extra hours. It's about how you make the best use of those 24 hours. So if you're bad at time management, you will never be able to prioritize fitness, because there will always be things that are bleeding over from the last day or from the morning. So you'll always keep pushing fitness as the last priority. So you need to first sit down with yourself, actually talk to yourself, figure out what your purpose is. Why do you want to get fit? If you don't have a clear answer, don't start, because you will reach a dead end, and then you'll feel like, okay, this is not for me. A lot of people go through this journey where they think that, okay, everyone is doing around me, let's get started on my fitness journey. They don't have any purpose. They do it, they realize they're not getting enough results as compared to other people, because they have purpose, you don't. And then you feel like, okay, this is probably not for me, I'm not made for fitness. That's when the person just completely gives up. So step one is sit down with yourself, figure out why do you need it, what is your purpose. Once you have your purpose, put it in front of you, write it down on a piece of paper, stick it in front of you wherever you sit, so that that purpose gets ingrained in your back of the mind. Once that happens, you will be way more comfortable taking up fitness as a part of your lifestyle rather than doing it as a luxury. So that mindset shift is the most important part that each and every individual should be aware of. Once your mind is ready, your body will perform it. There's no way for it. and you will also enjoy the process. It's like a lot of people, like, they're like school students, like you're being forcefully sent to school. So obviously you're not going to enjoy the school. You'll only feel like going back, running away, and making excuses. Excuses is a byproduct of lacking of awareness. If you don't know why you're doing it, you will always come up with new excuses. So it's a very good litmus test. If someone is making excuses, it just means that they probably don't want it, or they're not clear as to why they want it. So knowing your why, knowing your purpose, and then attaching that purpose in your day to day will make you get started, and will make a very strong foundation for you to build your tower on, which is going to last you for years. So it has to be very purpose driven.
Right. Of course, that's very true. I mean, knowing your why is very important because sometimes we take up goals that are not even ours. Like you said, like we hear our friends, we hear our peers, our colleagues say that, okay, I'm going to start training for a marathon. You probably don't even like running and you're like, okay, fine, even I'll do it. And you haven't taken a pause, you haven't taken a moment to think, is this really what you want to do? And then you reach a point where it's just too much, you can't manage the time, or you probably are not motivated enough to do it. So that's very true. Finding your why is definitely the first step to begin when you want to, right? So thank you for sharing that. It was really interesting. And consistency is one thing that a lot of us struggle with. I mean, we do take up even if we know our why, we know that this is what we want to do. Most of the time everybody has the answers. For some or the other reason, we are not being able to do what is right in front of us for a very long time. So what is it that you have experienced has worked with your clients to be consistent with whatever plan they've chosen, whatever physical activity they've chosen, or whatever it is about the nutrition? So how is it that you help them be consistent, and what are some really little things that make the difference when it comes to being consistent in your fitness?
And so the first most important thing would be being realistic. Most people are not realistic. They are like, they want to do something of everything. You cannot have everything. You have to be very focused and understand that, okay, my life is very stressful. I'm a working individual who's spending 10 hours in the office logging my ass, and I have a family to take care of, and I have loans to pay off, and I have this and that. When you know that there are so many things piled up in your back door, you need to understand that you probably cannot dedicate as much time to fitness as you might want to. So this is where you need to take a step back and see that, okay, boss, this is my bandwidth and this is what I'm left with. Now, what can I do to make the best use of what I'm left with? So when you are very realistic, you set better expectations. The reason why people are miserable is because their expectations are off. They set too high of an expectation and they end up disappointing themselves. Once you disappoint yourself, you're bound to feel like a loser, and you will feel like this is not for me and I should not be doing it. But when you set very realistic goals, very easy to fulfill goals, you feel rewarded when you do it. And that is where you get the whole dopamine cycle, working for you, where you get habituated to doing it again and again. So cracking consistency is a lot about self-awareness and figuring out कि मैं कहाँ stand करता हूँ. You have to know that, okay, I have probably 10-15 minutes a day that I can spend, and you have to figure out what is the lowest hanging fruit for yourself. So this happens when you talk to someone who's more experienced than you, probably an expert, and figure out that, okay, this is where I'm losing on, and this is what I need to optimize. And that's what gets you started. So most of my clients, when they come to me, they are very confused. They don't know where their time is being spent. They don't know what their priorities are. So once you sit down with them and once you figure it out, you are able to see clearly that, okay, this is where half of the time is being wasted. So once you get that clarity, things become super easy. That, okay, this is my real bandwidth. In the wrong assumption that, okay, I can lose this much weight in 3 months, it's not gonna work because I don't have the bandwidth to do it. If you choose practicality, consistency will be a byproduct.
Of course, I mean, and in some of the other episodes also from a lot of other coaches, that's what we've been talking about, that set the bar really low, like when you begin, because that's the big mistake we make, that, okay, now if I'm someone who hasn't worked out at all the last year, and I'll say that I'm going to go jogging in the morning, I'm going to go strength training in the evening, I'll be very motivated for the first 2 weeks, but it's really not that sustainable in the long run. So that makes so much sense. And also what you talked about, doing some little easy things every day that you feel you've achieved something, you've accomplished something, that lacks in our lives, right? Like, I mean, small wins every day, the sense of accomplishment. I mean, for someone who has a very corporate job, long working hours, and who's always into these work targets, probably doesn't even have that much time for themselves currently. we lack the feeling, the sense of accomplishment, because we always did that in school. We probably had exams, we had like matches to play, we had games, we had those little wins every single week. But now as an adult, a lot of us miss out on that sense of accomplishment. So that makes so much sense, and there's nothing better than showing up and going for a workout and probably eating a good meal that day. That is a sense of accomplishment that a lot of us miss out on. So that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. And apart from now, a lot of us know, so many of the coaches have been talking about it, we've heard so many people, and we've had trainers. So we know that, of course, to become fitter, one aspect is physical training and the other is nutrition. And nutrition is a very debated topic. We have so many of these views, so many opposing views, so many of these diets happening. But we know that these two things are important. Apart from that, what is it that you like to focus on, apart from working out and nutrition, that has helped your clients to in general improve their well-being, and that also has an impact on the workout and the nutrition?
Right, I would say that multiple things apart from workout and nutrition that helps a person stay consistent and make progress. One of them would be being mindful. In our generation, with the advent of technology and how Instagram, YouTube is taking over our time, like mind space, we are not able to stay in the moment. We are not able to be present. If you're not present, you're just running one deadline from the other. And in that case, you just forget about why you're doing it. You're very confused about things. You're very confused about where your time is going. So being mindful, being in the present moment is very important, and that can be achieved through meditation. So a lot of my clients who I feel are very anxious or are very disturbed with the things that are going in their life, I highly recommend them to start meditating, because meditation, no matter how less of it you do, be it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, even 5 minutes a day, it will detach you from the ongoing avalanche that you have, and like stop there and see, okay, this is what it is right now. So that is a very important part, that you have to be mindful. Second is sleep. Sleep is extremely underrated. Again, in our generation, people consider sleeping less as an achievement. Like the hustle mentality is so high that someone who sleeps for 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, and that too not at the right time, like these 4-5 hours from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. They are very proud of it as if they are achieving something really well. But that's not the case. Sleep is the best tool of investment. Like people keep asking me, where should I invest? Where should I invest? You should invest in a sleep, because when you sleep well, you are able to do well. You're able to be efficient with your time that you're actually like awake. So if you're not taking care of your sleep, if you're not taking care of your sleep hygiene, like detaching yourself from your work before you go to sleep, you will have a bad day the next day. You will not be able to cope up with the stress that is gonna come to you. So managing sleep, if you manage sleep, stress will automatically get managed. If you manage your mental health, stress will automatically get managed. So stress is the biggest variable here. Like if you're able to manage your stress well, you will be able to get better results from your training and nutrition. It's very important to keep you focused on your goals, but at the same time, if it takes over the required amount, you will end up seeing decline in everything. So to be able to manage it well is a very important and very underrated aspect of life. So again, like if you manage your stress, your fitness and nutrition will automatically elevate.
Right, of course. And I mean, talking about sleep, that is definitely one of the underrated aspects of fitness, because like even I was the person who was so much into the 5 a.m. club, who would like wake up at 4:30 and have this morning routine. I will work out in the morning, I'll do my cardio in the morning. And a lot of us, I mean, this is such a big misconception. Even I hear my friends talking to each other, or maybe my people of a parent's age, that okay, now this new year I'm going to work on my health. I'm going to wake up at 4:30 and start doing it. And I mean, I did it for some time, but when I realized that, I'm not being able to sleep well because of that, it's okay to take a step back and to manage your time accordingly. You don't have to listen to anyone saying that, you should work out in the morning, you should work out in the evening. It's completely up to you. And it's true that we have glamorized sleeping less so much that we hear our friends say that, I partied last night, but again, I'm here in the morning, I didn't even sleep, I just slept 4 hours. But that's no accomplishment. I mean, as you grow older, you will realize how important it is to have a good night's rest, and also to like you said, respect your circadian rhythm, because some people do sleep, but they sleep in late, like say till the afternoon, and then again they wake up and then they're not able to sleep early at night. You're not respecting your circadian rhythm. You're not really going with the a timing of your body, the inner clock that you have. So that's very true. One of the major things is your sleep and your stress. Managing these two can immediately have this major impact on your life.
Definitely. Like I had a change of thought, to be honest. So I went for this 10-day Vipassana course where we had to meditate for 10 hours every day. and we were supposed to sleep at 9 p.m. and wake up at 4 a.m. So
Okay.
there were nights when after 10 hours of meditation, our body used to be so tired. So like not the body, but you would just feel so tired and so in trance that while you are trying to like doze away, you would not sleep, you would not fall asleep. So in that case, the guru that was like Mr. S. N. Goenka, his lectures used to play at that time. So he would
Right.
tell that a lot of people go through this when they don't sleep. When you're sleeping, when you're trying to sleep, your body is resting. Is the mind that needs enough rest. So even if you're meditating while you're trying to sleep, you're getting your mind. So even if you don't sleep, even if you don't get into the REM or non-REM stage, you're still getting your recovery. So
Right.
again, it's not even about like sleeping. It's about resting your mind, which most people don't. A lot of people
True.
don't detach themselves before sleep. So they're even while they're in sleep, their mind is still working on something which is not important. So some people even after sleeping for 8 hours, they feel very groggy the next day.
Right.
So knowing that your body needs rest and your mind needs rest, and while you sleep, that both of them gets rest together, you need to like take care of your mind as well. You cannot just be theek hai, I'll just lie down on the bed. You have to calm down your mind to get like good sleep.
Right. And talking about meditation, like you said, I mean, even if it's just for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, I definitely think we should start doing that because that is, in the end, a little quiet time for yourself. I mean, the whole day, if you have a busy life, if you meet a lot of people, if you have these 10 things that you're doing in the whole day, you don't even, we don't realize we live out months without having few quiet moments just for us without any thoughts debating in our mind, right? Like, so that is so important. And I'm sure that a lot of us can definitely take out 2 to 5 minutes just before our sleep to detach from all of that and then proceed to have an intention of having a good sleep, having a empty mind before you sleep. So that, thank you for sharing that. That's something very easy to begin with. And you must have a lot of clients above 50s as well, right? So what would you say are some of the things that have worked out for them, and what is it that you do differently for them? Because after you've led your life for like 5 decades doing things a certain way, it can become quite difficult to change it, right? Like, I mean, just the mindset, even to begin with that, or even the smaller things about nutrition, because I've grown up with this habit. How can I just change it right now? So, what is it that has worked out for you when you worked with clients over 50 and some things that can help them ease into this process?
So first of all, I love my 50 plus clients. Like they are the ones who are the most disciplined. This
Right.
shows me the generation gap we have had. These people are so good at following instructions that you sometimes feel like there's something wrong in our generation. Like even though they are paying for the service the same amount, they don't really care. Like people in our generation, they would just ignore the instructions as if they are not even like they're getting it for free. But these people, they take it so seriously. They are so accountable to the process that it becomes a very fulfilling experience working with them. So there are two aspects to my offering. There's training and nutrition. So the shocking part is that these people love to strength train. Like I start them from zero. Like they don't even know how to squat, they don't even know how to do a basic hinge, like a deadlift movement pattern. So I have to start them from zero, and they enjoy it so much, like learning the whole process. Even push up for that matter, like they have never done a push up, so I have to start them at a very high incline, at an incline. And the way they learn and the way they progress, it's very joyful to see that they're committed to the process and they're actually showing up. So when I was building the technology, the app that I have for my clients, I used to think that it's not for people above 30-35, because they are probably from a different generation where they are not so tech savvy. They're not going to be using my app. But these people love the app. They are so used to it now that whenever there's something even 1% wrong in the app, they will be the first one to like point it out that something is off. You need to fix the bug. So there's a feature where a client can record the workout videos on which I can give them feedback at my own time, because of which it's very scalable. Like these people, they are the ones who make sure that all of the videos are recorded correctly in the right frame so that their feedback is not diminished. So that is something about the training part that I genuinely enjoy. Now coming to the nutrition, that is a real challenge, as you just said, because they're so used to eating certain food items for the last 5 decades. It's almost impossible for me to get them off it. So there's this client of mine. She's a South Indian, and she loves her filter coffee. Now it has been a challenge. Like I've tried so many different ways to get her off it, but then I realized halfway through that it's pointless for me to try. Rather than trying to get her off something which is probably not that good for her, I would rather just focus on adding things that are good for her. So these are a few tendencies that I see clients above 50, because they're like, "Ab to hame jeene do. This is our life. We have like followed everything. Now we want to enjoy, we want to have our sweets on our own time, we want to eat whatever we want. So a lot of times these clients don't understand, and I personally emphasize more on the training part, because what I've understood while working with more than 500 clients is that most people lack movement. More than nutrition, it's the movement that they lack. Barely people are getting 4,000, 5,000 steps. So getting them to go from 4,000, 5,000 to 10,000 on the average is in itself a feat which automatically starts giving them results without even changing anything in the nutrition. So rather than giving these people a diet plan to stick to, which becomes very cumbersome for people above 50, it's better to hold them accountable and make them aware as to what they're eating by allowing them to track the food by clicking pictures or by tracking calories on the
Right.
app, so that when I connect with them on a weekly check-in, I can see what they've eaten and then have a discussion around it. Because if there's something wrong, then there has to be a discussion around it where they can express their views that okay, this is the reason why I had it. Once you can understand someone's reasoning, you can start making changes in their food selection choices. Again, like it's a very difficult challenge. Like until unless they are very they have lifestyle disorders which needs intervention, they are very difficult to change. So that is there.
Right, of course, and definitely we can learn to be more disciplined from them, us young people, and respect the whole process. Right, like you said, that people do pay the same amount, but they don't respect the trainer's time, or like they don't respect their own time for that matter when it comes to when that they have chosen to give this time themselves. Right, but that's very true. I hope that we can begin to respect and discipline this process a lot more. That would make the whole difference for us. And also, yeah, like you said, that movement, adding movement, that in itself can be such a big difference in terms of it would improve your sleep as well. When you at the end of the day, it would improve the way you fall asleep much better, the quality of your sleep, and also the way you change your state when you're in a stressed mode, right? Like, in the best way to shift the mood you're in right now is to make a physical change, and just adding those little walks between your day or after your meals can have such a major difference. People don't realize is just to change your mental state. So that's very important. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so talking about your 100 days challenge that I've been seeing you talk about, and you personally taking it up also with your clients, why 100 days, and what is it that this has been doing for you, and what are some things that are the elements in these 100 days challenge?
Okay, so my reason of doing the 100-day challenge was more for others than it was for me. So I realized that I want to leave a legacy. I want to do a dream project where I give 100 reasons for 100 days straight to people to start doing fitness. So I realized that there are a lot of emotional roadblocks that people have, emotional and mental roadblocks. It's not even physical roadblocks. It's like, I don't have time, I don't know what to do, I am very stressed, I feel very low in life, I have other priorities to take care of. And like there's so many different emotional roadblocks that someone left me, or I'm not able to prioritize, that I figured that okay, if I can like directly target the emotions for 100 days straight, I will be able to make an impact. And even if I'm able to change one person's mindset about fitness, my goal is done. So I decided that to make it fun, I'll be working out daily for those 100 days. And through my content, I'll just talk about one topic each day, which is very close to my heart and which is something that I learned from my clients after talking to them as to what is their blocker. And I'll try to answer that, like I'll open that block for them by the end of the reel. So that was the initial concept that I started the challenge. The goal was just to lay it down for others to like go through the series from day 1 to day 100 and learn as much as they can, take as much value as they can about life, whatever I have learned in my life. So that was the whole concept. For 67 days I worked out every single day without fail, even twice a lot of days that I would do cardio one session and strength one session. Because again, when you do it consistently, your body automatically sends you signals that you have to work out, because it's like it's back in the back of your mind always. So that happened, but then something happened in my family. Someone passed away, so I had to take a 14-day break where I was not recording anything, where I was not even at my home. During those days, I could not. But again, because of the 67 days of consistency, I was able to quickly get back once I was back, and I was again back to action for the remaining 33 days where I consistently posted content. So in those 100 days, I was able to like give out 100 lessons, and for me, the biggest lesson was that do it so often that it becomes second environment for you. Like you don't have to think about it. So
Right.
that is what happened. Right now, I again back to writing things on my to-do list on my whiteboard. But after 50-60 days, I did not even need to write because I'm so used to doing it. It's like taking meetings with my clients now that okay, I know it's in the back of my mind. Whenever I'm gonna get time, I'm gonna do it. It became my second nature to
Right.
just complete my task, be it meditation, be it completing my steps, my workout, my meals, or reading a book. All of these things just became a part of my life. And even though I took a break after the 100-day challenge, I still used to do it consistently without even having a pressure on my head that I have to do it. So that was the
Right.
biggest change. If you take some time out of your life and like focus on one thing or two things, you will have it as a part of your life after that. You would not have to struggle to show up for those activities. So that's a game changer.
Right, and I'm sure, I mean, the goal of consistency should be that it should become a part of your identity. Like, if you talk about health and taking care of your health or being fitter, it needs to be a part of your identity. Otherwise, it is just another chore you're adding to your list, to your routine, right? I mean, when you know that, she is the one who works out every day, you identify with that, there's nothing that would, stop you from doing that. In fact, you would feel so uncomfortable if you haven't done it for that day, or you would look forward to doing it, having it as a part of your life, right? So that makes so much sense. And if there is any challenge that you would like our listeners to take up this month, this year, what would that be?
So again, like for people who are at complete zero right now, they need a smaller commitment. They need to start small. So there's this 7-day challenge that I've kept doing since I started Evolve It. But every time I did it, it was better than last time. So this time again, I'm planning to launch the 7-day challenge, where again I'm going to personalize the whole journey for each individual who joins, where I'm going to like train one-on-one with them. Because as of now, because of my Instagram growth, I'm at a point where I'm overbooked. Like I don't have space for one-on-one, 1 monthly or 3 monthly plan clients. So to address more people and to give them a experience of how personalized online coaching works, I'm planning to start another 7-day challenge probably next week, where the goal will be to get you started. Now it's again up to you how many days you take a pledge for. Whatever days you take a pledge for, I will be personalizing your workout, your nutrition, and holding you accountable on a daily basis through chat and giving you feedback at the end of the 7 days. So this is a challenge. If someone is interested in having someone look over them for a 7-day thing, then they can join the 7-day challenge that I have. Otherwise, anyone who's looking to start anything, they can just take up a 21-day challenge where they focus on one thing, because generally it's said that it takes you 66 days to make a
Right.
habit, but for a lot of people 21 days also acts as a launch pad for them to get started towards one thing. So if someone is struggling to do nothing, like they're not able to do anything, just pick one. Pick one activity that you really, really want to do. Take that time, like put it in your calendar if you are someone who uses a calendar, be it a Google Calendar, whatever. Put it there as a time slot and you just show up on that time. Because when you figure out where to do, when to do, how to do, you are, the ease of doing that activity increases.
Right.
So
Exactly.
so what I figured out is that most people don't know how. So that is why a coach is important. A coach tells you how to do, how much to do, and also like gives you feedback on what you have done. So that because of the feedback loop, you are very excited. You look forward to it. Every time you get a feedback, you look forward to the next feedback. So that is also something that works for a lot of people. If you can afford a coach, go for a coach. Otherwise, if you want to do it on your own and you have the willpower to do it on your own, just make a planner, a 21-day checklist that you can just paste on your wall. Write it on a piece of paper, make 21 days, put circles around it, and cross off. Each day when you're done with that habit, cross it off. It gives you immense satisfaction to get done with something, even though it's very small. Even if it's 5 minutes, you will feel good about yourself. So get started on something like that and you'll be good to go.
Right, of course, and there'll be links to Evolve Fit and to your profile for the audience who don't follow you already. They can go and check it out for themselves, and stay tuned for the next 7 days challenge and enroll themselves for that for sure. And lastly, this question is for the coaches out there who have had years of work, have years of clients, but they struggle to have this keep their clients consistent in terms of the other lifestyle things. Like when you have a new client, it's very easy because they're very motivated, right? Like so everything you'll do and all the chats, all the follow-ups, they'll be amazing. There'll be meal pictures coming in, there'll be everything. I meditated today, I went for a walk today, I did these many steps today. But then after some time it gets quite difficult, and then you feel like, am I disturbing this client, am I messaging too much, like what should we do? So what is your message for the coaches out there that would help them build this relationship with their clients better and help them in much better ways?
So what I've noticed in Indian fitness industry especially is that coaches don't really do proper check-ins. Like they do the bare minimum. They just send a template over to the client and then they expect them to follow the template to the heart without making any changes in it, and they don't do follow-ups. Like a lot of good coaches, like I won't take any names, but a lot of good popular coaches, they don't even connect with their clients on a call. So this is very
Right.
disrespect. This is like the bare minimum you should be doing. You should have a system in place where you have a weekly video call check-in where you're actually reviewing what all your client has done in the last week and plan the next week for them. This is the short way to ensure that your client is as invested in the process as you should in coaching them. I understand that you have a cap above which if you take more clients, your quality gets diluted. So in that case, this is what we are building, right? Evolve. The main purpose is to build a software as a service for online fitness coaches who can manage more than, like someone who's managing 20 clients can probably manage 100 clients using a tech and automate each and everything that needs automation, whereas focusing only on talking to the client, because that in my opinion is the most important part. If you're not sitting
Right.
on a call with your client for like 30 minutes a week, you don't know what they're doing, you are not aware. They might be checking in through WhatsApp or they might be checking in through pictures. It does not work. You need to sit with them, you need to understand what's going on in their life. That's how you'll be able to identify issues that might take place in the future. So once you're able to identify those issues, you'll be able to quickly fix it. So have a system, have a mechanism, and if you don't have a mechanism, reach out. I'm giving out my technology free of cost to coaches right now, because anyone who's interested, I don't want to charge them unless I am 100% satisfied as to what I've built. I am very selective in whoever gets it right now, but I'm not charging. So if you're a fitness coach, online fitness coach, and you genuinely are dedicated to helping your clients out, and you need a platform that can make your life easy, come to me. If you're someone who only wants to make money and don't really want to impact the client's life, then please don't come to me, because then my technology is not going to help you out. So that is a very important thing that coaches should know, that spend time with your client. Who they are, no matter how old they are, give them time. You will be able to hold them for at least 1 year plus. Like most of my clients that I work with, their average lifetime value is 6 to 9 months. So
Right.
this is the impact I'm able to bring. Even though I'm raising my prices, they're still renewing because they find value.
Right.
If you're able to provide value, people will pay you more. If you don't just give them a template, obviously they're not gonna renew. Why would someone want the same template again for like no value? This has to change.
True, of course. That's a great message for the coaches out there, and I hope that we see a lot better client and coach relationships, and this trust is becoming a lot more fun and interesting for a lot of people out there. With that, we conclude our episode today. Thank you so much, Swadhin, for all the amazing insights you shared, and to make this such a fun episode. And to conclude this episode, do you have any last messages or thoughts to leave us with?
I would say have a purpose in whatever you do. If you're able to figure out your purpose, you will live a happy life. If you don't have a purpose and if you only think about making money, you will have a very sad life. So have a purpose and be dedicated to that purpose. Be honest to that purpose. You will not need a lot of money to be happy. You will be very satisfied internally. So that is what I would like to tell.
Absolutely. That's a lovely message. Thank you so much. And I've personally loved the content that you've been sharing recently. I've just recently started following you, and I hope that our listeners who don't do already can reach out to you, can learn a lot more from you. There'll be links in the description below so they can reach out to Evolve Fit and or to your profile and learn a lot more from you, because I see how much you keep learning yourself and you keep sharing experiences, and that gives us so much value. So thank you so much once again for being here, for your time and your insights today. That's it for today's episode.
It was my pleasure, Sakshi. Thank you so much for having me.